Lake and had plenty for people to enjoy.
We have such a large Asian Pacific American presence in Los Angeles, and that really is why the Lotus Festival was born over 38 years ago now. And it's an opportunity sort of to take stock in our rich cultural diversity that we have here.
Every year there's a different host country. This year's was China. A fun fact, it was in 1932 at LA's first Olympics where the first Chinese athletes competed.
43% of the goods that come into America come through our port and the Port of Long Beach. Most of that comes from China. We also see the importance of cultural exchange and educational exchange, and we just love each other.
There was a variety of food to choose from, games, crafts, and so much for the entire family. And some enjoyed the lake. Or for those who were up for some competition, there were dragon boat races. Among the competitors this year were members from Council District 1 and 13 who showed off their skills in the water. And the winner? Council District 13 between the two. For some here, it's a festival they've attended for years.
It's definitely a great event. Like I said, I've been coming here since I was a kid, so it's something that, for me, it's nostalgic, you know, to come and bring my kid now and have her experience the same thing that I experienced as a kid.
The Lotus Festival was held for 2 days. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Echo Park can also be enjoyed year-round thanks to a $47 million improvement plan. Well, mainstays at downtown's successful Art Walk talk about its history, their favorite parts, and improvements they want to see. Gil Reyes reports from the Spring Art Tower at the heart of this popular stroll.
For one night out of the month, it's busier than usual in downtown. People fill the streets for several blocks to sample art and live music at more than 35 welcoming galleries. It is Art Walk night.
Art Walk has been going on for 14 years. It's the second Thursday of every single month. Rain or shine, hot or cold, we're here on the streets of downtown Los Angeles, mostly Spring, Main, and then the connecting streets to the downtown financial district.
We spoke to Art Walk Executive Director Catherine Brem at Spring Arts Tower. This old bank building is now home to several studios and the last bookstore. Established at its current location in 2011, California's largest book and record store is a maze of hanging books, public art, hidden side rooms, and more than 100,000 paperbacks and hardcovers for sale. The studio of assemblage artist David Lovejoy is also located at Spring Arts Tower.
Yes, I started as a clay artist, and actually it was moving into Pasadena about 12 years ago that changed that for me.
Why? What happened?
I moved into an old craftsman home, my wife and I, and the electrical system there couldn't support my kilns, so I couldn't fire anything for several months.
So he turned his attention to piecing things together out of spare parts. A lot of interesting things to see at David Lovejoy's studio, and everything's for sale. His favorite piece?
I think my favorite piece in here is the Jangalodian piano that's here behind me, and it is my favorite because of the interactivity of it. I have great experiences with strangers because of that, because it's an instrument that's meant to be played by several people at once.
A communal experience, Art Walk has given much-needed exposure to local artists and continues to be a vital part of downtown's resurgence. Its popularity is the reason why Wren Gallery owner Renee Warner opened her space in downtown, but she has one request.
I'd like to change it to being a weekend event because I think it's a little difficult, especially as how busy as downtown is now with all the construction, for people to get down here on a Thursday night. So I would love to see Art Walk on a Saturday or a Sunday. That would be the only change I'd ever make to it.
Bring comfortable shoes and we'll see you there. At downtown LA's Art Walk, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Downtown LA Art Walk also offers tours of must-see exhibitions and events. Find out more at downtownartwalk.org. Well, it's one way to eat out and pay less. The Dine LA program appears to have a winning recipe for any money-conscious food lovers out there. Anna Marcos herself does a little culinary exploration at one participating restaurant. Anna.
Yana, want to take a bite of the LA gastronomic experience? With the Dine LA program, you can take that big bite while it takes a smaller bite out of your pocket.
This is the Thai iced tea we offer here at We Have Noodles. A Thai iced tea, simple syrup and lime.
The lunchtime crowd is filling the house at the We Have Noodles restaurant in Silver Lake, a place to get just about any kind of Asian noodle dish. And restaurant managers say the Dine LA program, which they've joined, is definitely helping to make their business sizzle.
Well, considering we're a new restaurant, it just kind of helps bring the awareness about what we're doing around here, especially in this neighborhood. There's a lot of competition, a lot of restaurants. So being a part of Dine LA just helps us spread the word.
Dine LA is celebrating 10 years of tantalizing Angelino foodies' taste buds. Twice a year, in summer and fall, some 400 restaurants join the Dine LA experience for 15 days. What that means for you is that these restaurants offer special value meals, which often include 3 courses and are about 20% off the regular menu. All you have to do is ask for the Dine LA menu to get the special deals.
I would imagine it's just like an event that draws people in, so yeah, probably they get to try more stuff than they normally would.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more so for the experience, I think, than, the actual discount or anything.
Still, many of us like both the food scene experience and the discount.
Dine LA is the best time to get out there and explore LA through its food. We have the best food scene in the country right now. We're a big melting pot of cultures here in LA. LA has so many different pockets, and each neighborhood and pocket has such a great food scene.
In fact, since Dine LA began, LA has become a culinary mecca, often making it on food lists as one of the food hotspots in the country. And as if you needed any more motivation to chow down, here's one more, the Dine LA Golden Dish Giveaway.
So this season we are giving away 100,000 American Airlines miles, which is very exciting. So one winner is going to be handed this golden dish.
And it's totally random. So if you're ever eating at a Dine LA participating restaurant, you just might get presented with the check and a golden dish. Just one more incentive to become a Dine LA foodie. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information on Dine LA and on which restaurants are participating, visit dinela.com. Well, here's one way to get kids to read. Bring in an LA Dodgers player to read to them. The Summer Library Reading Series does just that. Kids at Echo Park's Edendale Library found themselves face-to-face with LA Dodgers player Ross Stripling. Anna Marcos takes us there.
Oh, wait, I changed my mind again. Sorry.
All-Stars LA Dodgers pitcher Ross Stripling doesn't just know how to play ball. He can work a room of 100 kids and keep them entertained with his reading skills. It's all part of the LA Public Library's Summer Library Reading Series in a joint effort with the LA Dodgers Foundation.
Make a scary face. I like the first book I read where everyone got up. I told them to stand up and then sit back down and stand up, and they had to act like there was a bug on their nose and then in their mouth. That was funny.
When have you seen kids pay this much attention to the 3 R's?
Well, I know yesterday the Dodgers won, so I'm pretty proud of them, so let's go Dodgers.
But this wasn't just all about entertainment. There was also a pitch for reading, staying educated, and staying in school.
We have been partnering and having the Dodgers come and provide story times. We have 10 this year.
I think it's important to have a role model and someone that they can look up to and say, hey, reading's important, education's important, going to college is important, and set you up for a bright future. And hopefully that resonates with them. Even if it just resonates with one kid, then that works.
Involve cats or feathers because they make them sneak.
Apparently, at least one kid was listening. So what does he think this reading pitch is all about?
So we can learn when we grow up, and then we get smarter.
All right. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a marine biologist.
That's pretty smart.
All I have to do is just learn how to swim.
I think it's pretty cool because then it has the younger kids have their role models and they get us have them teach them something.
You guys good with baseball? Who likes baseball? Anybody? We got Dodger fans in here?
And of course, it wouldn't be a Dodgers reading series without some kind of baseball. This book about a kid who keeps striking out and then finally wins big after many tries seemed to hit the spot. A little inspiration and a lot of fun and games. A recipe that might turn a few more of these kids into lifelong readers. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
This was the third library to get a Dodgers visit this year in the Summer Library Reading Series. The LA Fire Department expands on a successful pilot program. Salsa lovers come out in droves for some dancing and eating, and a busy stretch of Beverly Boulevard is about to get a lot safer. All these stories in City Beat. LAFD Chief Ralph Terraza has joined local hospital officials to announce the expansion of the successful Advanced Provider Response Unit program. 2.5 years after launching the first APRU, the LAFD has added 3 new units to its fleet, providing direct, advanced on-scene medical care to patients who may not require immediate transportation to the emergency room. 2 additional units will be coming online soon.
50% of the time, the APRU can treat and release a patient on scene, thereby eliminating a lengthy hospital transport, a very expensive hospital bill, while at the same time helping to ease emergency room overcrowding.
The 2-day, 3rd annual Latin Salsa Festival came to Pershing Square recently, featuring live salsa music and dancing, salsa tastings, and margarita vendors. More than 20,000 folks came out for the weekend festival. The organizer said she grew up with salsa festivals in her hometown and wanted to bring it to LA.
So I decided to organize a festival, a yearly festival that would include salsa dancing, salsa tasting, salsa music.
Los Angeles City Council member Mitch O'Farrell and the city's Bureau of Street Services broke ground on improvements along a 2.5-mile stretch of Beverly Boulevard to create a walkable, more pedestrian-friendly environment. The improvements include new crosswalks, curb ramps, driveways, enhanced irrigation, trees, and bike racks. All will be concentrated at busy intersections within commercial and residential areas. A new green food oasis just popped up in downtown LA. Union Station just got its first farmers market. Anna Marcos takes us there.
Union Station is no longer just a place to catch a ride. You can also catch your weekly dose of greens and other healthy foodstuffs before hopping on the train or bus. A new farmers market has sprouted at the downtown LA landmark.
I love farmer market stuff. I always like to buy fresh. That's me. Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables all the time, every day.
It took several years of talks with Union Station, but farmers market organizers finally got their slot, and it looked pretty popular even on the first day of business.
We have nuts, hummus, everything you could want, drinks, everything, flowers, the whole 9 yards. We've got it.
The empanadas were delicious, and the avocado toast was to die for.
And that avocado toast has plenty of healthy green stuff on it, too. Or for the cholesterol lovers, the mayo and pastrami is right next door, or ham, or whatever you want. The point is you can find just about anything to eat, cooked and uncooked, blue, green, orange, or red.
I think it's a wonderful idea to bring it. It's about time that they bring something like this to downtown LA at Union Station.
You can take a ride to healthier eating and grocery shopping at the Union Station Farmers Market every Thursday from 12 to 6, and even have a drink on the side. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more info, visit the Farmers Market website at ccfm.com. Do you miss going to the drive-in? Well, here's your chance to relive some memories or make new ones. Enjoy a Shakespeare play in the Valley and experience a new bold flavor and culture at the Taste of Ecuador. All this in this week's Things to Do. My Valley Pass presents its 2nd annual San Fernando Valley Summer Drive-In Nights, benefiting the Valley Relics Museum. Last year's drive-in event brought movie fans from all over LA to the Lake Balboa complex for 4 nights of films shot in the San Fernando Valley. that included E.T., Back to the Future, The Karate Kid, and La Bamba. This year's movie lineup will be just as much fun with Fast Times at Richmond High, Back to the Future Part 2, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and Selena, which will be presented on a 60-foot screen in a retro drive-in setting. Each evening features pre-show music, food trucks, and special guests. This year will also include upgrades to the film's audio and projection capabilities, as well as the facilities. The drive-in nights take place August 3rd through the 11th from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Lake Balboa Complex in Van Nuys. For more, visit myvalleypass.com. For audiences seeking quality family entertainment, Shakespeare by the Sea's free performances can't be beat. Pack a picnic, a blanket and beach chair, gather loved ones, and settle in under the stars for a night of classic entertainment. On Saturday, August 4th, enjoy The Merry Wives of Windsor, taking place at the Los Encinos State Historic Park, located at 16756 Moore Park Street in Encino. Come out and celebrate the 20th annual Taste of Ecuador Food Festival and Parade. More than 10,000 Ecuadorians and 5,000 other folks from different nationalities will enjoy a full menu of Ecuadorian cuisine and some other well-known food dishes. Attendants will also enjoy Ecuadorian crafts, musical groups, folklore customs, commercial products, free gifts, carnival games, and more. The 20th annual parade starts at 11 a.m. on Broadway and 7th Street, going north on Broadway until 4th Street, then Main Street, ending at Placida Alvera. The parade will have car clubs, dance groups, drill teams, convertibles, motorcycles, 24 beauty queens, and various businesses. It all takes place Sunday, August 5th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 425 North Los Angeles Street. And that's a look at some things to do.
You always know you're in for a rockin' good time at the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. And what's not to like? This year there were 4 music stages instead of 3, one dedicated entirely to jam sessions.
We've never had that before. Jazz is about improvisation.
Just pass and see and listen. Just listen.
You don't dance?
No.
You don't dance?
No, I don't know how to dance.
Okay, we all know people come for the jazz, but Council District 9 organizers weren't just watching out for your musical well-being. They were after your health and financial well-being as well.
Checking my blood pressure.
There were 4 pavilions, one covering things like health and screening checkups.
CD9 it has a lot of residents that don't have access to top-notch health care, and we want to make sure that we're participating as a good partner in the community, assisting our residents to get quality health care.
There was a pavilion for jobs and business opportunities.
We've always had this pavilion, but this year we made sure that we were focusing on bringing in organizations that had jobs available now.
Another pavilion focused on the arts, while a 4th focused on youth. And this year, LACMA teamed up to teach children art classes, while another class taught regular old folks like you and me how to get that Latin drum rhythm going.
We have Latin percussion for the first time again this year, doing a rumba in the park. They'll be teaching children, youth, adults how to drum.
And if you needed to take a breather from all that Latin drumming and jazz jamming and all the great music by Pete Escovedo and Earth, Wind & Fire, well, not only was there food to relax with, for the first time, there were food trucks.
The people will come for the music, but they'll stay for the fun.
This jazz festival provided food for the soul, mind, body, and even your pocketbook. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Property theft has spiked in the area the past year due to easy access for thieves. Almost 80% of car theft occurs because of unlocked doors. Locking your doors takes a matter of seconds and can become so routine that you may forget whether you locked your doors or not. But it's worth the effort to double check. The more successful thieves are at taking items out of a car, the more chances they are going to come back to that area. Don't let our town be that area. One simple precaution is to hide or cover any valuable items when leaving your car unattended. Simple actions like these can prevent you from becoming a victim of property theft. The Los Angeles Police Department would like you to remember, lock it or lose it.
My name is Eric.
My name is May.
We are in Chinatown. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
welcome to City Hall. Welcome to your Los Angeles City Council. If everyone would please take a seat. Today is Wednesday, August 1st. We're going to begin today with the presentation portion of our agenda. So what I'm going to do at this point is call on Mr. Mitch Englander to start us off. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. I brought an army.
It sure looks that way.
Absolutely. So, let me just be honest about this. As much as we enjoy often doing presentations for local heroes, most of the time, they're very joyful. We celebrate and honor somebody's career, their achievements. Somebody went out of their way to perform something unique and extraordinary. Cultural leaders, visionaries in the city. That's who we honor at this podium. Today is not that day. Today is actually a little more difficult for me personally because we're letting one of our local heroes go, retire after 33 years of incredibly focused and dedicated service to our city. Our chief, John Sherman. I say it's difficult because we all have sometimes, if we're lucky, that opportunity to create and establish a relationship and a bond. Somebody that we look not just forward to working with, but we look up to for guidance. Somebody that we go to for help in everything we do. Sometimes we find that person, whether it's within the Los Angeles Police Department, the fire department, our own staff, whoever it is we're working with in the city, that is one of the most honest, ethical, compassionate, hardworking, focused individuals we come across. And that, for me, was John Sherman. He was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley, so he knew the valley well. In fact, born in Reseda, he attended Cleveland High School. He attended the University of Northridge, Cal State. And he was a Los Angeles police student worker for the West Valley Station. He then left us for a brief time because he enlisted in the military and became a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. He joined LAPD on April 1st, and it was no joke, 1985. He was appointed to the Los Angeles Police Academy, and he completed the 6 months of training. Of course, this is no surprise to anybody. He graduated at a full academy class at the very top of his class. He worked all over the place throughout the city. Rampart, Devonshire, Hollywood. He was a patrol officer. He worked narcotics, gangs, detectives. He was promoted to a sergeant. He was assigned to Central Patrol and Wilshire Patrol. He supervised patrol officers, gang officers, special problem areas. In fact, his resume is 19 pages long and 4-point type. So I would read it all, but I can't see it. It's not just lengthy, and it's not just that he worked in so many different areas. It's that every single assignment he took on, he did it 100%. 100%. He bumped into this job with passion, conviction, and he's never left that in the rearview mirror. Every single day. He became a friend of mine when he was assigned to a division that didn't exist. What a job. In fact, he was the first one that I knew in my career that was assigned to a division that didn't exist, and that was Topanga, 21st Police Division, the city of Los Angeles. And he was assigned to an empty lot. And he was assigned to a building with a trailer on it to work and figure out how to build it, how it was going to be operational, what the patrol plan was going to be, to figure out exactly where every single outlet and the station was going to be. And let me tell you right now, that's what he did. He was there every single day with a hard hat, walking everybody through the station, talking about the community room and how he wanted it up front to be accessible to the public, how he wanted windows so people can see in the building, which later we had to put a wall up to block it for security reasons. He designed the landscaping, which later died because we didn't put in a great irrigation system, but we fixed that together too. He micromanaged it because he wanted it to be a station not just for the police department or the police working in and out of there, but of the people. In fact, I'll never forget this. I can tell you a story. The day we opened the station, I actually cried that day when John gave me a tour, and I'll tell you why. When I went through the police academy, I had a partner in my academy class, and Parker. And one night, he and I went out about 2 months into the police academy, and he asked me, in fact, I'll tell you right now, in the interest of full disclosure, it was our Spanish night, and our instructor didn't show up, so he and I decided if we went out for margaritas, maybe that would make up for it. So we did, and we talked all night long. And we became very good friends. And he asked me why I became a police officer. Why did I want to become a reserve officer? And I told him it was because my uncle was killed and shot. And I wanted to do something to give back, to make a difference. I said, "What's your story? Why'd you do this?" Travis told me the story of his sister, Nicole, who when they were kids, toddlers, sleeping and sharing a room, somebody broke into their home and kidnapped her right in front of him, and said if he woke his parents up, if he made a noise, that he would kill them both. And then they found her later, shoved into a suitcase and chopped up. In any event, so he's telling me this story, and there's a reason John plays into this. We're opening Topanga Station. We fast forward a few years later, and John comes over to me, Chief Sherman comes over to me, and at that time, Captain Sherman, who we'd visited many, many times walking through this station. And he said, "I want to show you something special that no other station has." He said, "I met an individual, his name's Travis Parker, some years ago, and I believe you know him. He was your partner in the police academy, one of your classmates." And I said, "Yeah, I know him and I know his story." He said, "Well, we partnered on the Topanga Station, and I want to show you the room that Travis and I put together." And so every police station, we try to have a family room where there's a kid, a juvenile, a family, a mother, a woman who's been domestically injured, and have a warm place for them. And we really haven't been able to do that in the city of Los Angeles for a number of years, and it's usually often a cold room with no decor, with white walls, a very shallow, empty, quiet space that's cold. And so what they did on this is there was a detective that was working this case, Nicole Parker's case. His name was Joel Price, recently retired from Los Angeles Police Department, Thousand Oaks council member, a great man. Joel worked this case trying to crack it for many, many years, and trying to find and apprehend this individual. In fact, it cost him his marriage because he was so dedicated to this case that soon after he was able to apprehend this individual, because he focused his life and his career on this, he and his wife remarried. In any event, John walks me into this room, and there's a mural that Travis and John Sherman had commissioned on the wall in the family room. And it was a yellow brick road in the land of Oz. And skipping down the yellow brick road was Joel Price and Nicole Parker holding hands. And this was a vision John had working with Travis and the community to make this room something special. That's what he did every single day on the job for 33 years. He's left a legacy. He's left an imprint. He's changed lives. I wanted to share that story rather than read 19 pages of his bio, because to me this is personal. This is a man who's dedicated not just his mind and put his life on the line, but his heart to this job. And for that, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Let's give John Sherman a big round of applause. I'd also like to recognize his high school sweetheart, Tracy. They recently celebrated their 37th wedding anniversary together. 37 years. 37 years that she's been at home waiting many nights.
Let's give a round of applause, 37 years.
37 years. They're both very blessed. I'm going on 25 this year, so I look up to 37 years. Here today also, his father, unfortunately Glenn Sherman, who many of us know, retired LT, couldn't be here today, but I know he's here in spirit. I'm not feeling well. His daughter also, Officer Nicole Austin, on duty with the Los Angeles Police Department. Let's give Officer Austin a round of applause. His daughter, Danielle Davis, and his grandson, Elijah. Let's give them all a big round of applause. I'd like to now ask Chief Green to say a few remarks.
Chief, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. It's an honor for me to stand before you to represent Chief Mike Moore today. He couldn't be here. But to say a few words about John. And it is rare that you find a police officer with the passion that John has. And passion is one of the most valuable commodities for us in law enforcement, for folks who engage and really go out and do what they're believing in. When you find somebody that's smart, with passion and dedicated, and has a character that John did, it's very, very hard to replace. And so although we celebrate John's retirement, it will leave a significant void in the Los Angeles Police Department. He's been a fearless leader. He speaks his mind. And when John speaks, you listen, because character and the right thing always come through. And it was all about community first. You know, the police department can very quickly surround itself, and it can become all about the department's reputation. For John, it was never that way. It was about the community first. Why are we here? We're here to protect the community and serve the community. And so his decision matrix was based on that. So he did leave a great legacy for the Los Angeles Police Department. And John also mentored many, many people that will ultimately step into the void that he has left to provide leadership for the department and for the communities that we serve. So John, on behalf of Los Angeles Police Department and the Chief of Police, Mike Moore, thank you very much for your years and years of dedication. And thanks to your family for tolerating us for as long as you did. Congratulations.
Thank you. Before I turn it over to John, I want to give you one of my special challenge coins. Say thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For your dedication.
Thank you. Thank you.
And lastly, I was just thinking about it as Chief Green was just speaking. You know, we all look at our phones often and get that call from LAPD. We have that captain, that commander, that chief that calls us, and every time that phone rings, we all look at it and go, oh crap, what now? What happened in my district? What's going on? And I will say, that didn't happen very often with John Sherman, because he called for everything. It wasn't just a bad thing. He called just to check in. He called to find out we were doing a program, or how do we like certain things with operations? How's it going with, working interactive with our SLOs and our captains, and just checked in all the time. And so thank you for that. So on behalf of all of us, we've got a special resolution commemorating your dedication, signed by all of us, including the mayor, and thanking you and wishing you only the best in your retirement. So put it a little low. I'm a little shorter.
And I think Bob covered it.
Okay. Yes.
Mitch, thank you. Mr.
Let's give the
President.
chief a round of applause.
Mr. President, honorable members, thank you very much. Mitch said some very nice words, but he has been a true friend for many, many years. I started in Devonshire in 2001, I think is when I met you the first time, is when you worked for Councilman Smith. So he is a great friend, and we have had some great times together. So thank you, Mitch. But also the other council members, as I look around here, I've worked with many of you. Nuri and Monica, thank you very much for your partnership out in the Valley this last couple years. Ms. Huizar, it's been good. I've been very fortunate to work with a good council. You have supported your police department. I tell you, your police department is in good hands. I've known Chief Moore for almost 30 years, and the LAPD is going to be a better place because you made him chief. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate the kind words. I'm humbled. I'm honored to be here, but I'm humbled. The accomplishments that Mitch was talking about was due to the fact that I had great partners to work with, many of them standing here behind me, and then a very supportive family, which means, as you all know, which means a lot in one's career. So thank you very much for honoring me today. I take this very seriously, and I'm very appreciative of you doing this. And thank you all very much.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief, you and I started in the Valley together. I had just been elected, you had been appointed Valley Bureau Chief, and we really together hit the ground running, and I want to thank you so much for being a really important partner in how we help to resolve a lot of the challenges that we face in the San Fernando Valley, more importantly, how we improve the quality of life. And I think, Chief Green, your points, your comments really nailed it completely. There's so much heart of service in you, and it was reflected in your service to our country as a Marine Corps, a member of our incredible Marine Corps, Semper Fi. But there's so many parallels between the career that you had and the support that you have from your family, your beautiful family, who I know stands with you in everything that you do. It's very much reminiscent of the life I had growing up. And to be able to see your incredible leadership, I know as the daughter of a public servant, I can only imagine the immense pride that your family holds because of who you are, because of the incredible leadership example that you've provided in this department, and your legacy continues because of the mentorship that you provided and through your daughter's service in the police department as well. So I just want to thank you for your incredible dedicated service to our great city, and thank you for all that you've done to help make sure that we have a very powerful and productive law enforcement partner in the San Fernando Valley. You really helped set that tone, and I appreciate you immensely. Thank you so much, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Mr. Huizar.
Thank you very much, and I think the heartfelt words we've heard from all the speakers speaks volumes about the type of man you are. Thank you for your service. In my 12 years on council, in the different capacities we have worked with together on, whether it's here in the chambers or on the streets in the community, you have been a great example for the LAPD. And so we thank you so much. We thank you for your service. A dedicated person like yourself speaks volumes about what LAPD is, what the city is, and what it means to be a public servant. You exemplify that. Thank you so much for your service.
To close?
I can only wish, not John, but his family and his wife, the best of luck to try to get him out of the house, to make sure that he remains focused, and because he's very intense as well. In all seriousness, thank you very much, colleagues, for allowing us to honor this distinguished career of an individual who's dedicated so much. So God bless you, John. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. We do have a quorum So before Mr. Englander gets, I think he has another one. Why don't we call everything to order? So, Mr. Clerk.
Blumenfield, Bona, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Carrasco, Corin, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rube, Weston, 11 members present and quorum. Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Martinez moves. O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Bonin moves. Cedillo seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, there is a request to continue, a request to continue items 11 and 18 to August 8, 2018. Again, 11 and 18 to August 8.
So order, continue.
Very good, sir. Items 1 through 12 are items noticed for public hearing.
Okay, do you have cards?
Sir, cards on all items.
Okay, continue.
Items 13 through 20 are items for which public hearings have been held. Committee reports for items 19 and 20 have been posted and circulated for council's consideration. For items 13 through 16, the city clerk reports that the tabulated value of the opposing ballots cast does not exceed the tabulated value of the supporting ballots cast, and therefore majority protests are not found to exist, and the proposed establishments may be authorized.
Okay, thank you. Let's prepare to vote on these items. I don't see any specials from the members. So, Madam Clerk, if you please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Please continue, Mr. Clerk.
Very good, sir. And, Mr. President, those ordinances will go over 1 week for a second read unless reconsidered later today with 12 members.
Thank you.
Items 21 through 29 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards on any of these items?
Cards on all items, sir.
All right. Okay, let's go. Sergeants, if we could, I'm going to open it up for public comment. Oh, wait, Mr. Englander, are you ready for your next one? Oh, my mistake. I'd like to recognize Mr. Englander.
Come on up, guys. Thank you, Mr. President. This presentation is actually one of those really happy ones. Nobody's leaving, and in fact, they're just starting their lives. And I couldn't be more proud and more honored to recognize our 6th year of our E12 program, our public service summer leadership program, and our class, our graduating class of 2018. Let's give them a big round of applause. So 17 high school students. They, instead of going to the beach every single day, instead of staying at home and playing video games, as many in high school do for their summer recess, or going to the mall, or whatever else it is that high school students do, they signed up and they showed up for a very rigorous 10-week program that empowers young leaders, embraces civic engagement, and teaches and embraces social responsibility. So this is a commitment that they made, that they strive to say, what can we do to improve our lives and improve the lives of our local community? Now, all students have to have exceptional GPAs. It's incredibly competitive, and in fact, over the years now, it's become very fascinating that we actually get lobbied by parents, by teachers, by local civic leaders to try to get somebody they know into the program. And so it's pretty incredible. So over the 10-week course, they did many things, including visiting Los Angeles Police Department stations and meeting with area captains and local police officers. They went to the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, where they learned not just and discussed their ideas on homelessness, but learned about solutions and what's being done in their local community and how they can get involved. They went to the Valley Relics Museum to learn a little bit about the history and the culture of the San Fernando Valley and what it was like back then with BMX bicycles and neon lights. They went to the Department of Water and Power to find out who really runs this city. There's a joke in there somewhere. They came to downtown Los Angeles, and they're here today. They learned about public safety and local history. And so they did a lot. They talked a lot. They developed and improved their leadership skills. They honed in on public policy and fostering group collaboration, communication skills, and probably, and most importantly, out of all of this, something that's not taught in school today. Not just civics, but networking. How do you start dialoguing with people that you may or may not agree with? How do you listen to different points of view and perspectives? That's critically important. How do you follow up and follow through and take a minute to pause to truly listen? Those were skills that were brought into this program as well. And so I'd like to recognize our E12 students that could be here today: Anna, Joanne, Sarah, Sierra, Karanesh, Kirsten, Alicia, Gregory, Ethan, Jonathan, David, and Hannah. Let's give them all a big round of applause. In fact, I've given them all one of our special challenge coins that I just gave to Chief Sherman as well, presented to prove not only membership, but to recognize a special achievement. So you all have one of these. You should keep it for good luck, as well as certificate of appreciation and culmination. And so with that, I'd like to now turn it over to one of our leaders here, Sarah, to say a few words.
Welcome, Sarah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Tran, and I have been an active participant in the E12 program for the last 2 years now, as well as an intern at City District 12, and the office is amazing. So thank you so much, Mitchell Englander, and all of the office workers for allowing me into your humble working space. But what even is E12? Well, E12 means a lot of things. At its preface, it's a leadership program over the course of 8 weeks, but it's taught more than the word leadership can entail. Things like empathy, seeking to understand one another, effective collaboration, and so forth. We were constantly in the face of metacognitive practices and really trying to understand not only others, but ourselves as well. And in the process, we learned more about city governance, which was really amazing. And overall, I'd say that it's best summed up by the word empower, because we not only learned how the city operates essentially, but how and what we can do to move forward in our pressing times with a lot of city problems that we think that's important to talk about nowadays. And so part of this journey, we went to the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, which was really amazing because we not only got to talk and learn more about homelessness, but we also got to do, within 10 minutes, we got to make 70, care packages. And that's crazy to think about because in 10 minutes, these group of students and a few more can make 70 care packages. That just goes to show how much of a difference that we can make as individuals. And yeah, so thank you so much for allowing me to speak to everyone today. And I thank Mitchell Englander personally for allowing this program to be in place, and Mr. Ron Rubin, as well as everyone who has made this possible.
Thank you, sir. Let me just close with Sarah. That was phenomenal. Our next infomercial for E12 next year, we recorded that. One of these, if not many of them, and hopefully Sarah as well, will be sitting in one of these seats in the very, very near future, because these are the leaders we need. Somebody that is willing to step up from high school, to give up their summer vacation voluntarily and compete for the spot, to learn about their local community and civic engagement, what they can do to make a difference. That's completely unnatural and very respected and admired. And so I thank you, not our future leaders, but our current leaders who are here today to celebrate each one of you and your achievements and wish you only the best. We talk about networking, and I want to close with one thing, and this is what I usually tell them privately every single year in the back, and I'll say it publicly now. Half of it is what you know, but the other half is who you know. It's just getting your foot in that door for that first job, that first opportunity, somebody you can call for help. Whether you want to help somebody that is on the street and you want to get them help, it's who do you know? Who can you call? How can you get a response? This is a group that will always have that network, not only with our office in the city, but each other. And so I want to thank Ron Rubin in my office, who not only is the curator and creator of E12 and so many other phenomenal programs, but my entire staff this summer was deeply involved and engaged, whether they were directly working with our students or putting together when they weren't there the curriculum and the day trips and what they're doing in the field trips and utilizing their contacts with where they were going to end up to make sure that they were embraced and had the opportunity to meet with the right people. So thank you all to the best staff in City Hall for making this E12 program another successful year. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to call up, did we remove the ropes, sergeants? Okay, so Mr. Herman, you're up first. You have items 1 through 12. Then you have 21 through 29 and your general public comment. So please come forward.
And Mr. President, for clarification, there has been a substitute motion for item 29 that has been posted and circulated.
Thank you. Mr. Herman, the floor is yours.
So you all know why I'm here. Without the delight of my words to talk about the 25 years of CD12 consideration at Oak Avenue, I want to rename Kinsey Street and deny and protest to confirm my assessment that I want Kinsey to be the KKK Kinsey Street up there in the valley for improvements and maintenance, Mr. Folger, the city attorney, rookie. And then I go into the next item in the rear of this pamphlet of bullshit to discuss item 23 in CD 14, who kicked me out of Plum yesterday, the wetback. From the Bureau of Street Lighting, let me establish a hearing date for maintenance. Well, there is no maintenance in Colorado, nor in Boyle Heights, nor in El Sereno, due to the wetback that denies us a physical impact statement or report dealing with $587,000.70 that will be collected annually, starting with tax year.
Herman, I'm going to ask you to stop for a minute. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Calling somebody a wetback here has nothing to do with the conduct of this business. It has nothing to do with how this council member is conducting business in my district or in the city hall. That type of abuse should not be accepted by anyone in a workplace like this. I ask that the speaker please refrain from calling anybody any type of derogatory names. It's offensive to me. It's offensive to other individuals in the audience. It has nothing to do with the First Amendment. It is abusive and should not be tolerated anywhere. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Herman.
So am I being unreasonable because I exercise your right as a legislative body? Anyone here at this podium, we are speaking in resolution determining or terminating local state emergency for fires declared by the mayor. What mayor? The faggot that doesn't come and do his job in the city
subject.
To resolve local emergencies that no longer exist? Is it my fault that in accordance with the Los Angeles Administrative Code Section 8.21, am I on topic, Mr. Folger? Fucking correct me if I'm right or wrong.
Now you're veering off. Go back on.
Operation of law, all rules and regulations under the Brown Act give me the right to criticize on orders and directives in reference to what the fuck I am saying about America, for America, and about America with the
just stay on topic,
management.
Mr. Herman. In fact, let's go to your general public comment, and then you can say whatever you like.
Come on. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you,
Okay, the speaker's being repetitive, and we don't have to listen to repetitive things.
Okay, that's their time, Mr. Herman. Thank you. His time is expired. Okay, please sit down now. You're disrupting the meeting. Mr. Walsh, please come forward, Mr. Walsh. You have items 21 through 29 in general public comment. So the floor belongs to Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. Number 29 is funding for services in relation to Hollywood Boulevard. It doesn't say what the services are. Below listed funds and accounts. Overtime, $20,000. Well, they're not really doing a good job on, I'm no fan of the President of the United States, but I don't believe that pickaxing his star on Hollywood Boulevard is a good thing. And as we see, you're spending $42,000 to protect his star on Hollywood Boulevard, and you're not doing a good job. You're doing a poor job because, and this is just overtime. That's overtime, $42,000 in overtime. And I think go out to Hollywood Boulevard. It's a mess. It's filthy. If someone were to defecate on the president's star, it would improve the look of the star. That's not an attack on the mayor. I mean, that's not an attack on the president, Donald Trump. That's an attack on the filthiness, absolute filthiness of Hollywood Boulevard and the Walk of Fame. It is absolutely in terrible condition, and you don't care, and you'll fix the star, which you should do, but I'm tired of my paying for fixing the star, fixing Donald Trump's star. I think we should all watch the tape of Donald Trump receiving the star. The man is an egomaniac. You can have your 33 seconds
Just give him
back.
his 1 minute for general public comment.
1 minute for general public comment. Let me tell you right now, we were over at Supervisors, and we mentioned that that Herb Wesson has defaulted on his credit card. Herb Wesson has defaulted on his credit card. Now, if that's a lie, you can destroy my credibility by saying it's a lie. But the LA Times isn't doing a story on it because it's so incredibly insane that you can't manage your own money. Herb Wesson cannot manage his own money, and he's in charge of managing the #1, the biggest city, the second biggest city in America, HollywoodHighlands.org. The mayor is...
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Previn, items 2, 12, 21, 22, 26, 28, 29, in general public comment. The floor is yours.
Good morning, sir. It's Eric Previn from CD2. Welcome back from your hiatus. It's good to see Koretz back from the scooter battles. Item number 2 today is clearly a measure of bravery for the group who has protested successfully. David Rue was trying to get a lighting district up on Lamona and Magnolia in his district, and they found a majority protest does exist, which means a no vote, they're not going to put the streetlights up. So this is amazing. There are dozens on your agenda, as usual, in which there is no majority protest, and therefore the lights will go up. Krikorian in our district has two at item 21 and 22. That's CD2. Item number 28, I just want to touch base briefly on the misinformation swirling still, even as we now terminate the state of emergency for the Skirball fire. You remember in December of last year, around the new year, the fire in Skirball was not caused by a homeless encampment fire, as was initially reported by the mayor. There was a little group that created this illusion, and then when the fire department was cornered, they said, we don't have a final determination. And when we went out and looked, there was obviously no way that that was what happened, so that was a devastating blow to those experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles. Today at item 29, Mitch O'Farrell has doubled, it's the enforcement of 5611 pilot program. He's not trying to get people's, well, he is trying to get homeless people's stuff off the streets, I think, in Hollywood Boulevard in a section where they have a lot of foot traffic, so it makes little sense. But it also dovetails with our efforts to limit street vending. Now, as you recall, we finally decriminalized it because we're the only place in America, that big city, that doesn't, that bans it. And now we were working on the regulations. I think you remember Bloomingfield made a last-minute stand to stand up for the existing businesses to push people a little bit further away. It's a hot issue, but what I was wondering about is we ban from all the places where people might make a living, like near a Dodger Stadium or near Staples or near, isn't that protecting those big businesses? And what about Griffith Park? Is that an area where you can sell stuff without being criminalized? It's an interesting question, and it raises questions about the city attorneys constantly tweaking these laws and adjusting things. I don't know if this pilot program is a good thing, but he's doubled the amount of money in all overtime from $41,000 to over $90,000 to enforce just a couple blocks of people putting tables up. Doesn't make sense to me. And it shouldn't be overtime. I mean, my God, we have a lot of financial needs around here, so I don't know. I find that embarrassing. And item number 26 caught my attention. This is a Prop F fire facilities item. And what you have here is we're extending the term of a contract for some architects who helped with a couple firehouses, but the sum doesn't change, and it was a lump sum of $4 million.
Thank you. Your minute for general public comment.
Thank you, sir. Sir, nobody's been more focused on cannabis than you and Andrew Westall and your group. And there was something stuffed through July 31st yesterday, which was the second reading of a proposal to put on the ballot, and I assume you approved it, yet another little 1% tax. You didn't approve it. Oh, fascinating. Didn't go? Oh, well, mazel tov. Then let me simply say, what a great job you're doing. Who pulled that? Or we don't want to discuss it now. We'll discuss it later. In any case, that sort of takes the wind out of my sails, but I was trying to put a community impact statement up through my neighborhood council. And what we encountered, unfortunately, sir, was Department of Neighborhood Empowerment still needs a little neck massage with a kind of a pincher, because they can't make simple things work like the community impact statement. We voted on July 18th not to support it, and then just over a period of 10 days, we could not get it through the window, and there were nothing but ridiculous hurdles that were so illogical and inappropriate. Please take a look at that. We have to do a better job, and thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Autry, you want to come forward on item 27, and then you can go into your general public comment?
Yes, I would think that, with the current safety laws that we have, that you shouldn't have to lose any. Is the one just for the 27, or that's not public comment included, is it?
27, you can talk on for 1 minute, then you have your public comment.
Okay, yeah. Maintenance of the safety laws so that no life is lost or sacrificed. God rest the soul of that person. But again, with this modern technology, I wouldn't think that any police officer or fireman should be lost in the line of duty unless that was a sacrifice due to negligence or some intentional of overlooking of the law. So with the fire hazards today, again, I just think about slumlord conditions where I live at the Alexandria and throughout Los Angeles, and one of the richest cities of Los Angeles, in the world, that should not be happening. So raise the standard for residential as well as for the occupational.
Now let me give you your minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm not a racist. I speak, read, and write Spanish. But due to the fact that a lot of immigrants who are undocumented are mafia, they're low-level criminals. I understand what they say. They harass me. They think I'm a sex goddess because they're bringing their Aztec sex gods and blood gods. They want to drink my blood and kill me. Yeah, they kill many Latin women in Mexico. Okay, the only reason I would ever vote for Trump is to prohibit the low-level criminals, mafioso, talking about mano, la culpa. I'm tired of it. Okay, and it's cheap slave laborers for the Jews and for the businessmen that control Los Angeles. They attack single women because they think we're supposed to be used in their ritual, murdering us, and then, oh no diga nada. I'm tired of it. I filed complaints, and I'm not a racist. I'm not calling them out of their name. Okay, but there's a reason that they are here, and the sexual harassment at the Alexandria and the Hayward has got to stop, and throughout Los Angeles. They're Mexican, Hispanic maintenance men. Some are Mala Salvatrucha, El Salvadoran.
Thank you, Ms. Autry. Thank you. That ends your public comment. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now okay, Miss Autry. Okay, Miss Autry. Now you're disrupting the meeting. You're disrupting the meeting. Miss Autry, please take a seat. No, just take a seat. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Take a seat. Okay, now we're going to vote on items 1. She's still disrupting, Mr. City Attorney. We're going to vote on items 1 through 10. Items 1 through 10. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Now let's move and vote on items 21 through 28. Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
And Mr. President, those ordinances will go over 1 week for a second read unless reconsidered later today with 12.
Okay, now let's deal with item 29. I've got some public comment. Stefano Medina, Christy Ruggles, Rosa Miranda, Jenny Domingo Lopez. Please, if you guys would please come forward and identify yourself. Yes, sir.
Is this thing on? There we go.
Yes.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Stefano Medina. I'm here to speak against what's currently going on at Hollywood Boulevard, the displacement of street vendors, people of color who are just trying to make a living. I agree. I believe that everyone here are people of goodwill, and the only way I can understand this borderline racist policy happening in Hollywood Boulevard is that folks are just misinformed. And so I am here just to let people know how this looks. This looks like it's an anti-immigrant, anti-low-income policy. It looks like the city is caving to business interests, NIMBY property owners. I mean, that's exactly who the group is. And so I just hope that the City Council remembers the position that Los Angeles and California has today in our country and stands up for immigrant and low-income entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please come forward and identify yourself.
Good morning, my name is Jenny Domingo. I'm here today because I want to inclusion, not confusion for all materials. I am a street vendor, and I am here for all my fellow vendors on Hollywood Boulevard. Right now, there is a lot of fear on Hollywood. The street of conclusion is impacting our lives. It makes it harder for us to improve, to provide for our families. Councilman O'Farrell, we need to continue working together. Confiscation is not the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, good morning. First of all, thank you for taking the time to address us and willing to collaborate with us. I am a Hollywood street vendor. My name is Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, my name is Christy Ruggles. I reside in the city of Glendale, and I'm a mother of 3 children. Currently, we do not have any type of rent control in the city of Glendale. This is my second rental increase. A lot of us selling and working in Hollywood are facing this situation. We just want to be able to work without being afraid of our things being confiscated and having to purchase more items that are just going to be taken away. We're willing to work with the people that have businesses there, with you guys, members, policies, police department, in order to work together as a unit and just help provide for our families without the fear of taking our items being taken away. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please identify yourself.
Voy a necesitar interpretación. Buenos días, miembros de esta mesa.
Good morning, members of this table.
Mi nombre es Rosa Miranda, trabajo para East LA Community Corporation.
My name is Rosa Miranda, and I work for East LA Corporation.
Con la campaña de legalicemos la venta ambulante en Los Ángeles.
With the campaign to legalize the street vending.
Agradezco todo el apoyo que se ha brindado a la campaña.
We thank you all the support that has been offered to the campaign.
Pero en este momento los vendedores del Boulevard de Hollywood están viviendo los estragos
But at this time, the street vendors from Hollywood are struggling
sobre la confiscación.
about the confiscation.
Confiscación no es la solución.
The confiscation is not a solution.
Agradecemos al concejal del área,
We thank Councilman from the area,
el concejal O'Farrell,
Councilman O'Farrell,
por trabajar con la campaña.
for working with the campaign.
Pero necesitamos que él sepa
But we need for him to know
que necesitamos trabajar más juntos
that we need to work together
para incluir a vendedores ambulantes.
to include the street vendors.
Necesitamos que la confiscación no es lo que va a calmar el problema,
We want to make you understand that the confiscation will not ease the problem,
y esta confiscación está impactando la vida de muchas personas vendedoras.
and this confiscation is impacting the life of many street vendors.
Necesitamos que no expandan este programa
We don't want you to broaden this program
y que paren el programa.
Thank
and
you.
to stop the problem.
Next speaker.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Samari Sanchez. I'm a street vendor on Hollywood Boulevard, also a single mother. It's been a fight to try to legalize the street vendors, and now we're facing the exclusion of Hollywood Boulevard. I'm just asking everyone here that we're asking for opportunity to sit down for all of us to talk about and come out with a better plan. Street vendors are organized. They were already creating some new regulations for them, like be behind the stores, clean teams. So I just want an opportunity for to cooperate and work all of us together and resolve this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that ends general public comment on this item. Let's prepare to vote. If you would, in fact, is this a two-vote? This is a two-vote item.
Yes, sir. The first on whether to substitute.
Okay, so let's vote on the first. The first vote is for the substitution. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Now let's vote on the item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, let's take up item 12. Mateo Nagasi. Mateo, are you here? Mateo? Mateo Nagasi? Are you Mateo Nagasi?
I think I signed up for a general comment.
Well, here, I'll just let you do your general comment right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Mateo Nagasi. I live on 8th and Spring, and every morning between 8 and 10 o'clock, I walk around the city, and I see all of these really amazingly beautiful skyscrapers being built. And I notice that the majority, well, let's just say it, there are no African Americans on the payroll to any of these. And it's crazy to me because African Americans are a prominent part of this city. And I think that there needs to be some sort of mandate that these developers are required to hire African Americans as part of their crew because they're just primarily Latino and white. And I did ask someone, a developer, why he did that, and he actually said to me, in his sincere ignorance, that I don't believe that they have the skills. So we all know that's a lie. So,
thank you for coming down. Okay, now let's vote on item 12. If you'd please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, let's move right now into general public comment. Can I get Rob Kwan, Gavin Pierce, Sylvia Moore? Please come forward. Do we have a Carolyn Goodman? Just, Rob, come on down. Lead the crew down. Carolyn Goodman, Mylene Carberry. Mr. Kwan, you got it.
Morning. In John Adams' defense of the Constitution, he stated, "Corruption in elections is the great enemy of freedom." About 10 years ago, the most hated person in Los Angeles, I would say, was Jack Weiss. I worked on a city council campaign in the runoff in CD5 and went to a lot of voters' doors, called them on the phone, and more often than not, they'd say, "Anybody but Jack Weiss." The reason for that severe lack of mistrust that led to a Republican getting elected as city attorney was because of Westwood Palazzo. Before Seabreeze, before our LAUSD president was laundering money, before the FBI was investigating a council member for their contributions, we had Westwood Palazzo, where Alan Craston funneled money to Jack Weiss and council to win their exemptions. I urge you, this is a really important time to rebuild faith in government, to actually pick up money in politics and do something in advance of these 2020 elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please identify yourself.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sylvia Moore. I'm representing California Common Cause. Members of the City Council, it's time to pass much-needed improvements to Los Angeles Public Matching Funds Program. The program has been successful, but we can do even better. Common Cause supports reforms that would do just that, such as increasing the match rate to 6-to-1 and implementing either a ban on contributions from developers or a broader ban on contributions from non-individuals, as is done on the federal level. The next election cycle is quickly coming up, and local elections are becoming more expensive for grassroots candidates to run, and we've been waiting for these improvements for far too long. We urge the council to pass these reforms without further delay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning. I'm Carolina Goodman from CD4, speaking for the League of Women Voters. The influence of money in politics shapes every issue this council touches. The League took a position on campaign finance in 1974. We believe that the methods of financing political campaigns should ensure the public's right to know, combat undue influence, enable candidates to compete more equitably for public office, and allow maximum citizen participation in the political process. The League of Women Voters was instrumental in the formation of Los Angeles City's Ethics Commission to monitor and enforce the law. City Council must take action to reform its policies for public funding of campaigns in time for the 2020 election. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Gavin Pierce. I'm a community organizer and board member of the Highland Park Neighborhood Council. I spent much of the summer organizing millennials to register to vote, but in that process I saw many young people who had lost faith in electoral politics. This is why I'm urging City Council to take action in time for the 2020 elections and increase the amount of public funding available to candidates. This amount hasn't been increased since the fund was created in the early 90s. It'll allow candidates to talk with voters instead of just focusing on donors. And yes, I'd like to urge City Council to take action on this. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Milen, and I'm here also to push for campaign finance reform with 2020 coming up. I feel like our candidates are focused on donors more than voters because we put them in that position. They don't have a choice. They're not going to be heard unless they have enough money behind them. But with money comes pressure to cater to large donors and also causes silence to happen. And an example of that would be the Los Angeles Police Protective League Union. They are big contributors, have contributed to many campaigns, and with that, we currently have no sanctuary city, a large ICE presence. We have problems with our force using excessive force. We have problems with what our police officers are receiving as training. And over the last 5 years, no officers have been prosecuted. And I feel that that has a direct impact from the amount of money that's contributed to campaigns. So what I would ask for...
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Your
you.
time's expired. Eugene Persikoff, Mr. Herman, please. Josh Bernicki and Shaheen, please come forward. Yes, sir.
Yes, hi. My name is Eugene Pesikov. I'm here representing myself, but also a member of DSA, Democratic Socialist of Los Angeles. And I just wanted to add to what my friends were saying over there, that money should be overturned in politics if you guys actually want to win back the trust of the community and the people, which you guys, last I checked, had a 10% turnout in, which means people are not listening to you guys, people do not trust you, and that's why the system is crumbling. And that's why things are going to get a lot worse if you guys do not actually change things to serve the people. And I don't think you guys can do that if you guys are constantly beholden to certain corporations and certain interests that are contrary to what the people are demanding. So someone mentioned the LAPD and your inability to actually regulate them and enact laws that prosecute killer cops or hold them accountable. If you guys actually want to win back the trust...
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Josh Bernicki. I'm a member of the American Indian Movement. I'm here to stand in solidarity with what my fellow comrades have been saying. The corruption in this government has gone on far too long. If we're going to let big corporations and developers continue giving you money, you're only going to serve them. And you can see here from the people who have already spoken that people do not agree with what is going on. You need to give more money to empower small donors and grassroots candidates. If you want to make this a true democracy, you need to make this accessible for people that don't have money to come up and give their input, and the government and the city should support them in doing so. I'm encouraging you to overturn the money you receive from the developers, make a stance, look at yourself and look at how you got here, and realize that everyone should have that same opportunity, and that starts by empowering the people who live in these communities to have their voices heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Shaheen, please come forward.
My name is Shaheen, and I live in Council District 5. I was recently asked if I could pinpoint a time when I became aware of the influence of money in politics. I realized then that I always believed that money and politics went hand in hand. I didn't need to attach this belief to an episode like Seabreeze scandal or politicians that have been bought out. I've essentially always had an understanding of the role of money in politics and its negative effects. It's time for that to change. I want a system I can believe in. As a teacher, as a community organizer, and as a voter, I want the best candidates to represent me and my community, not just the ones with loads of money or those who receive their campaign dollars from big donors with greedy interests. It's time to take action. I urge you, in time for the upcoming 2020 elections, to increase the amount of public funding available to candidates. By increasing matching funds program to 6-to-1, we can empower more grassroots candidates and small donors to take part in leadership in our actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public comment. Mr. Clerk, what's before this body?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted, they are referred.
Desk
I'd like to recognize Mr. Price.
Mr. President, members, we all know how hard it is to lose a member of the family or when a member of the family moves on. And that's our situation today. It's bittersweet. We are going to be saying goodbye to a very important person on our staff, Paloma Perez McElvoy. Paloma, come on up here. For the past 5.5 years, she has been not only the Deputy Chief of Staff, but our planning director, and has been responsible for managing an extraordinary level of development and activity in CD9. And we are gratefully appreciative of your efforts, Paloma. Although she did not have a planning background, she has successfully ushered in a number of iconic projects over the past 5 years. The Reef, the football stadium in Expo Park. Of course, we're excited about the Lucas Museum, which is coming on, Honda car dealership, which you helped to usher through, in addition to hundreds of years of housing. And so we're just very proud and pleased about the role you've played, being unselfish, being very giving, being very creative, and when necessary, Mr. President, being a hard nose. And there are lots of folks will attest to that. But we just, but we just want to again thank you for your energy, your boundless drive, your support, and in addition to that, she's been a mother. Well, she is a mother. A mother, a friend, a colleague, a mentor. Paloma, we just want to wish you all the best. We're so proud of you. You'll always be a part of the Team Price, and we look forward to your activities and your achievements, and we look forward to working with you as we continue to make this the best community possible. So again, thank you, Paloma. We love you.
Good luck to you, Paloma. Good luck to you. Again, good luck to you. Let's give Paloma another round of applause. Mr. Herman, please don't disrupt. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Okay, so now, any other announcements? Then if all would please rise. Please rise for adjourning motions. Please rise. Let's get a little quiet. If all in the council chambers would please rise. Ms. Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I would like to adjourn in the memory of my dear friend Eugene Jean Green, who passed away on July 4th, 2018. Jean served tirelessly as the director of the Japanese Garden in Lake Balboa. Jean was always interested in landscaping and pursued that interest at Cal Poly Pomona, where he received his bachelor's degree in landscape architect. Jean worked for the city of Los Angeles for 53 years. He began as an intern and was later hired as a landscape architect assistant with the Bureau of Engineering. Then in 1982, he worked directly with Dr. Kawana on the installation of the Japanese garden. The garden was Jean's passion project. He was always part of the work that he and his sensei, Dr. Kawama, created. He himself placed the last 24 stones that marked the completion of the garden. Since the garden's opening, Jean worked tirelessly with volunteers and other staff to ensure it was successful for the community. It is due to his efforts and all of the volunteers that the Japanese gardens in Lake Balboa consistently ranks in the top 10 Japanese gardens in North America. Together, they put events that celebrated the Japanese culture, such as the bonsai show, the origami workshops, and so many festivals. His work and his personal touch made the garden beyond special. In fact, the Japanese garden is where I had my first inauguration ceremony as a councilwoman, and my late director, Linda Levitan, worked with Jean to put together a beautiful event that showcased what is so great about Council District 6. He always said he had the best job in the city, and he would never take credit for any of the wonderful things that happened there on a daily basis. Instead, he credited so many of the volunteers and so many of his staff. He would only rest when he slept or when he was sick. And even when he was sick, he would often tell his family, "You only need 4 hours of rest." That's what I say too. Only 4 hours. In his rare free time, he enjoyed working on his cars and doing projects around his home and spending time with his family in Pismo Beach. Him and his wife, Lynn, and his 4 beautiful daughters together, Candace, Kathy, Kristen, and Samantha. They also welcomed 5 grandchildren, William, Reed, Alexandra, Wade, and Gavin. Gene's dedication to the community is indispensable. He never asked for thanks or credit, and he simply took pleasure in seeing his vision come to reality. He was truly an asset to the city of Los Angeles and the community of Lake Balboa. Gene will be sorely missed by his family, his colleagues, his friends, and my staff. May he rest in peace. Thank you, colleagues.
Well said. Looking to my right, I don't see any more adjourning motions to my right. Now I look to my left, I don't see any. Members, this meeting is adjourned.